Hi everyone, welcome back to the kitchen. Today we have a delicious old-fashioned treat with a modern day twist. Today I'm going to show you how to make delicious homemade applesauce in your pressure cooker. I can't wait to show you how this all comes together. Today we're getting old-fashioned, but we're putting a modern twist on it. We're gonna make some applesauce. With school back in session, whether you are distance learning from behind your computer with your kids at home, or whether your kids are going to school under certain conditions, lunch and snacks can always be an issue. Homemade applesauce is a really great option. Fall is here, apples are plentiful, and today I'm going to show you how you can make homemade applesauce in a snap in your pressure cooker. So what I have here is 8 cups of Honeycrisp apples that I have peeled, cored, and just roughly chopped. I literally just cut both sides off the other, and then I cut everything in halves or in quarters, just big chunks. I like applesauce to be chunky, so that's how we're gonna do it. If you like yours to be smooth, I'll show you later how you can process it to be more smooth. We're gonna use the juice from 2 lemons, 1 cup of brown sugar, a tablespoon of apple pie spice. If you don't have apple pie spice, you can just use plain cinnamon if you like that all by itself. But apple pie spice is just a combination of cinnamon, ground ginger, nutmeg, clove, and allspice, and that's it. You can put a little combo in there. I have a recipe. This is my homemade blend of apple pie spice. I'll put a link down below and in an iCard above, and you can go check it out if you like when you're done watching this video. We're also going to use approximately a cup of water. Your pressure cooker may be different from my pressure cooker, so I'm going to ask you to consult your manufacturer's instruction booklet so that you will know exactly what to do with apples. Sometimes it's a little bit different. Sometimes the amount of water that you need to add is a little bit different. All right, so obviously we're going to start with our apples. In they go. I'm using my Go Wise 10-quart pressure cooker. There goes our lemon juice, our brown sugar, and our apple pie spice. Of course, if you prefer no spice, you can go with that. If you prefer no sugar, you can go with that. Look, you don't have to have sugar in here if you don't want it. The apples have their own natural sweetness, and that's entirely up to you. And right now, this is smelling like apple pie. I am kidding you not. So good. In with our water. Now remember, you need the water in order to create the steam, in order to make the pressure and the pressure cooker work. So I'm just giving this all a good stir. Apples tend to create foam, just like rice or beans do. So you can put a pat of butter in here. That will reduce the foaming, and it will help you make sure that you're not going to ruin your pressure cooker. I'm not going to add the butter today, but if you decide you want to make a big batch of applesauce, you can go ahead and do that. But remember, don't fill it more than 3/4 full with apples, and if you do that, make sure you add a pat of butter or a splash of vegetable oil or something to reduce the foaming, because we don't want you ruining your very expensive machine that makes our life a whole lot easier. On with our lid, and I'm gonna go ahead and set this. I can just set manual, and I can set it for 6 minutes, and it's gonna be on high. And then that is just going to do its thing, and we're going to let this natural release for about 10 minutes, and after that happens, I'll be back and I'll show you what this looks like. Alright, this pressurized for 6 minutes, and I let it come to a natural release for 10, and then I just released the remaining pressure, which wasn't very much. As you can see, we have nice chunky cooked apples, and all we're going to do is we're going to take our potato masher, and at this point, this is when you decide how chunky do you like your applesauce. I do not like my applesauce to be like baby food, but if you wanted to make baby food out of apples, you could certainly do it like this, and you could just either put it through a food mill, or you can use your immersion blender and make it super smooth. If you're going to make this into baby food, I highly recommend leaving the sugar out. It's just not necessary, and you don't want to get your babies hooked on that right up front. But now it's a little bit watery. I'm just going to hit the saute button, and I'm going to let this kind of reduce a little bit, and it's going to This comes up to heat pretty quick, and since the pot is already warm, it's not going to take very long. So I'm going to let this reduce. This defaults to 20 minutes on the timer, so we're not going to let this reduce for 20 minutes, just, you know, a little bit. You can see it's already come up to a simmer. We're going to let this simmer for about 5 or 6 or 7 minutes until some of this water cooks out and the mixture reduces a little. And remember, as this cools, it's going to thicken up, so you're going to keep it in the fridge anyway, and we're going to go from there. So I'll be back as soon as this is reduced down, and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, I have been reducing the applesauce for about 10 minutes, and I'm just going to turn it off now because we're good. When you get to your desired consistency, and I'm thinking about there, because like I said, remember, apples have a lot of pectin. This is going to thicken up a bit as it cools down, and we're going to keep it in the fridge, so it's going to be the perfect consistency. I just don't want it to be too liquidy, that is all. So now all I have to do is pop this in a container and then let it cool off. I'm going to bring you back in just a few, and I'm going to show what it looks like, and I'll force Rick to give it a try.
I have to.
You have to. Well, there you have it. Our applesauce has been put into a container, and I have some in a serving dish. This is still warm as of the filming of this video, but I'm gonna let Rick taste it. It's very chunky. It does look like it has a little bit more liquid than you might like, but as this cools, that's going to thicken, so keep that in mind. Remember, apples have a lot of natural pectin, and as this cools off, it's going to thicken up quite a bit. So you don't want to cook all the water out of it, otherwise you'll end up, I mean, unless that's what you're going for, you'll end up with jam. So, are you ready?
Yep.
Give this a taste.
I have to.
There you go. It tastes like apple pie.
Yes, it does.
It's so good.
I'm not a big applesauce person, but that is really good.
Really good. I grew up eating applesauce. We used to have it as, you know, an addition on the table during dinner, depending on what we were having. You know, you think about using this like as a side condiment, almost like when you would serve cranberry sauce with chicken or turkey. This is a lovely option with just about any meal. You know, put it on the side. Put in a little container in your child's lunchbox, or having it awaiting them at home at the end of the school day, or just anytime you want a little bit of something sweet. This is super delicious, and I know you're gonna love it. Wow, super fast, super easy, and if you have that pressure cooker, let's keep using it. So that's how you make delicious old-fashioned applesauce in the pressure cooker. I hope you give this a try, and I hope you love it, and until next time, I'll see ya.